Hi, happy campers. Welcome to Girls Camp Day 2. Today's activity will be watercolor with Mackenzie Deacons, and you will see the tutorial right after this. And it's going to be awesome, so get ready for that. And an inspirational message by Sister Zinn, and a little gift. You'll receive a little gift. So I'm excited, you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to text me or FaceTime me. But I can't wait to see your awesome, awesome results tonight in our Zoom meeting. Thanks, guys. Happy camping.
Hey, campers. Do you like your shirts? You can thank Sister Mac for that. This is her genius creation. How are you guys doing? Are you making friendship bracelets? I haven't started making any friendship bracelets yet because I've been working on, so this is Monday. I'm recording this for Tuesday. So I hope you guys have learned a little bit about the 12 tribes of Israel and how that all came about. We're going to go a little bit more into it. So yesterday we talked about the covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, and the genealogy of the tribes. Today we're going to talk about the scattering of the tribes. And I want to kick off with very simple stuff, the 10th article of faith. Now, if you know this, I'm just going to say the first part. I want you to say it along with me. Ready? We believe in the literal gathering of Israel and in the restoration of the 10 tribes. Did you notice anything in there that's interesting? It's 10 tribes. But as we went through the genealogy yesterday, there's more than 10 tribes. There's actually 13 tribes, but the tribe of Levi has a different commission. And so they're kind of, it's not that they're not part of it, but we don't count them when we're talking about the 12 tribes. I might have that a little bit backwards. Forgive me. But our 10th article of faith talks about the restoration of the 10 tribes. So let's talk about that. And you know what else I wanted to talk to you about real quick. Have you noticed, so I hope you all got a chance to do baptisms, especially for the younger girls. We took a couple of you at the very beginning of the year, but hopefully you've all had a chance to do baptisms. And did you notice that the baptismal font sits on 12 oxen? Oxen are actually bull. It's just in America we call them bulls. Other parts of the world they call them oxen. But it's not just a bull, it's a bull that's been castrated. And if you don't know what that means, I want you to ask your parents. Maybe particularly ask your dad, because that's super uncomfortable and that'll be funny. So it's a bull that's been castrated, and it makes them calmer. If you've ever had to fix a dog or a cat, it's the same thing. And that is to make you have the strength of this oxen, this bull, but the Lord needs, it's symbolic, and it applies to each of us that we can be strong, but we can be meek and teachable, that we can be sturdy, but not stubborn. I have this written down so I have to keep reading it. We can be powerful, but not proud, and we can be willing, but not willful. And so I wonder if you have noticed when you've gone to do baptisms that you are literally getting baptized on the backs of the 12 tribes of Israel. So, but back to the article of faith, it talks about the lost 10 tribes. So, back in the day, we've got the tribes. They've all got, it's a tribe. It's just their family. And then you have a map. I don't want to lose my place. In your book, page 23, shows where the tribes all kind of settled and the land that they settled. Now, there weren't like walls and fences. People could travel easily from here to there. But you were known kind of for being your tribe, like I'm a Zinn, you're a Yeslith, you're a, all the different names that we each have, just kind of tells you where you are, but you're parts of other families too. And so people were a little intermingled, but this is the land that they inherited. So in about 930 BC, now if you remember, Lehi is 600 BC. So this is a few hundred years before Nephi. In 930 BC, the children of Israel split into two kingdoms, and it was kind of known as the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And again, I've got notes. You should see it. It's a real freak show in here. The northern part had about 10 of the tribes, and the bottom two, the southern part of the kingdom, was known as the kingdom of Judah. So they called the northern kingdom of Israel the southern kingdom of Judah, and Judah was like Judah and Benjamin. You've got them right here. I don't know what happened to Simeon in that. Did they? I don't know if they migrated up. maybe that's something you can look at in your spare time. So they split into two kingdoms. And what eventually happens is the northern kingdom falls into apostasy. And many of the righteous had migrated south and came to Jerusalem. Let's see. They in the 8th century BC, so that was in the 930 BC. So the 8th century, the Assyrians invaded the Israelites 3 times. First, they attacked the outskirts of the northern kingdom. Then they conquered the heart of it, the land of Ephraim on your map. And third, they invaded the southern kingdom and took over everything except Jerusalem, which was miraculously protected. After each attack, the Israelites who were not killed, sorry, my computer fell asleep, were deported into what we know as present-day Syria, Iran, Iraq, Eastern Turkey, and some were permitted to stay, but they had to pay tribute. And soon they just kind of intermarried and kind of lost their cultural identity. People in Jerusalem were all that was left of both kingdoms. So if you look at the map, they attacked the northern kingdom, they attacked the southern kingdom, and Jerusalem was all that was left. And this included people from the tribe of Judah and Benjamin, but also from the other tribes that had escaped there. And regardless of their backgrounds, they just all started calling themselves the Jews because they were living in the land for the tribe of Judah. So they became known as Jews. And so that's where Lehi, remember Lehi's in Jerusalem, and they're trying, Jerusalem's kind of falling into apostasy, and Lehi's the prophet, one of the prophets trying to get them to stick with it. So the scattering of Israel, let me see if I've covered everything I wanted to cover. So in 605 BC, and again in 957, Israelites were carried captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. In 537 BC, it's okay if you don't remember any of these numbers or if it makes your eyes cross. All this historical data. But it is an important timeline. Cyrus of Persia, he conquered Babylon. He allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem. And then again in 70 AD, now fast forward, 70 AD, and again in 135 AD, Romans came in, destroyed Jerusalem, and scattered the Jews among all nations. Let me fast forward here. So the scattering of Israel, the warfare, when they were taken captive and lost, we know from the Book of Mormon that the Lord really supports the righteous. But when we lose our testimony, when we lose when we are not obedient, we are kind of left to our own devices. And Israel was scattered, and it was a consequence of people's unrighteous choices. But God can make good come from bad situations, and God still sent strong spirits through the lineage of the tribes of Israel because he'd made promises to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob that their posterity would bless all the world. Christ was the ultimate fulfillment of that promise because he came through the line of Judah, and he's the King of Kings. And obviously he has improved and uplifted the world with his example and his teachings. And all that he's done for us clearly in the atonement. But the blood of Israel was provided to the world to be what's called a leavening influence. Have you heard that phrase before? Like yeast in bread, it makes bread rise. There's no yeast in tortillas. That's why it's got a lot of the same things as bread, but it stays flat. Yeast is a leavening agent, and the house of Israel is considered a leavening agent for humanity. It's there to make it better, to make it rise. I have a great thing I want to remind you guys. So the house of Israel was a chosen people, and we are a chosen people as members of the house of Israel. But it's important to know that we're not chosen to be better. We're not chosen to be uplifted. We are chosen to be uplifting. So we have a commission to go out with the double portion of our birthright and make life better for people. Bring into their understanding the ability to pray, to feel the Holy Ghost, to repent, to be baptized, to partake in all this stuff. I have something written. Oh, let me see. Here it is. This was in my notes when I was looking for stuff. Like, I'm not better than anyone. You're not better than anyone. You're not more loved or adored by your heavenly parents than anyone else. But don't be confused, because being a covenant member of the church gives me and gives you better access to their heavenly powers. And that's the deal in a covenant, right? You do this, I do that. The covenant is what we make with our Heavenly Father, that if I will keep the laws and ordinances and obey the commandments, I will have what? The gift of the Holy Ghost. I'll have greater access to heaven's power in my life, to make my life better, to make my family's life better, to serve in the ways I'm asked to serve. And it gives me better access to peace and peace of mind. So there's huge blessings that come from being in the house of Israel and to being chosen people. But just remember that you're not chosen because you're better. You're not chosen to be uplifted, to be better than people. You're supposed to be a leavening agent to make people's lives better, to make the world better. Okay, so we talked about Israel was a consequence of unrighteous choices, but God can use, he can, there's a great phrase that I use a lot with in my family. What the Lord doesn't cause, he consecrates. The Lord didn't cause the scattering of Israel. He knew it was going to come by the choices they were going to make, and he made plans for it. Let's see, Christ was the let's see, I said that. In the Book of Mormon, we read, the Lord scattered the Israelites in the nethermost parts of the vineyard. So that's Jacob chapter 5. It's this allegory of the vineyard, and it's symbolic to us. And the Lord scattered things all around the vineyard to preserve them. And even in the poorest spots, the vineyard still brought forth good fruit. So right now, there are members of the house of Israel scattered everywhere in the world. And the Lord is using them. So they've been scattered because obviously thousands of years ago, the warfare and the slavery and the selling them off and trading them off, and then people just scattering and then intermarrying and losing their identity, don't know who they are. And that's where we're kind of at right now. But the Book of Mormon, it was all prophesied that it would be gathered again. So when Christ was resurrected and he came back to the Holy Land to visit his disciples, they asked him, and this is in Acts chapter 1 verse 6, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? So remember, we were talking, 930 BC is when they set into the northern and southern kingdoms, and then a couple hundred years after that, they're attacked and scattered, and it happens over and over and over again until they're kind of it was just Jerusalem, and even that got attacked and people scattered. So in 32 AD, 33 AD, now you've got people asking Christ, wilt thou at this time again restore the kingdom of Israel? They knew a gathering had been prophesied, and the Savior responds to them, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again. I will bring them again to their folds. So they also knew that the gathering would restore the kingship given to the tribe of Judah, and the rightful heir of that kingship is Jesus Christ. So at that time, the Lord's answer was no, and the saints at that time had to look forward patiently. But we're in that day. And so fast forward now to 1836. Joseph Smith is a prophet. He's at the dedication of the Kirtland Temple. And he prayed to the Lord to, quote, have mercy on the children of Jacob. Remember, Jacob is Israel. So we're talking about the tribes of Israel. We're talking about the family of Jacob. Have mercy upon the children of Jacob, that Jerusalem from this hour may begin to be redeemed. That gets me a little emotional. That's the prayer that Joseph Smith offered in the Kirtland Temple in 1836. 1 week later, the Savior appeared to Joseph Smith and Oliver Cowdery in the Kirtland Temple. So this is in Doctrine and Covenants 1:10. Followed by prophets of old, including Moses, who bestowed the keys of the gathering of Israel. This is in verse 11. So he's the very prophet that once led the children of Israel out of slavery and bondage in Egypt, and he came now to bestow the keys to the gathering of the children again from a different kind of slavery. And it's in your book on page 29, referred to as the slavery of ignorance. So that's where we find ourselves. The tribes are scattered, and 10 tribes are scattered, not the 12, because Benjamin and Judah weren't scattered at the time. And I'm left to understand that we kind of know a little bit, like those were the people who stayed in Jerusalem, and I could probably have researched that better. But it's really the 10 that are that are scattered more and kind of all over the world. And we play a part through our baptism and our obedience. We get to play a part in the role of gathering them back together. It's a huge deal to gather them back together. It's one of the prophecies before the returning of the Savior. So this video is shorter today. It's 15 minutes. I hope you're starting to wrap your mind around this. This is kind of deep stuff. It's a little beyond just kind of Bible stories. So take some time to think about it. Pray about it, wonder about it, ask your parents about it, talk to each other about it, talk to me about it, talk to all the other leaders about it if you have questions, and think about that. So there's 3 parts we talked about yesterday, the covenant. Today we talked about the scattering, and tomorrow we're going to talk about the gathering and what we can do, what tools we have, and what we're supposed to do with our birthright to make this gathering happen, because it precedes the return of the Savior and all the blessings that have been foretold that were coming, and they are our family members. And it's a beautiful thing to serve your family on this side of the veil or the other side of the veil. So I love you girls. I hope you're having fun. Tuesday's going to be great, and Wednesday's going to be great, and Thursday's going to be great. And I'm super grateful for all of you participating. Very, very grateful for all the young women leaders who have done so much behind the scenes that you don't even know about, and you're not meant to know about, just to pull this off and get this done. And grateful for the bishopric for their never-ending support and reimbursements for all the things that we have for you guys. Love you. If you need anything, let me know.
Okay, ladies, I am so excited to be teaching you a little bit about watercolor today. I want to show you what we're going to be making. This is a clip art I actually found online. It mimics our old Young Women's logo, which I find really interesting because it is so similar to the Young Women's logo, because ours is a torch and then this just has the flames on it. But then I just wrote Born for a Time Such as This, and then Esther 4:14. I know it looks kind of hard, but I want to show you some watercolor techniques to make it just become a lot easier. We're going to be doing some tracing using tracing paper and making it really easy. So there's that. That's the end result. But first I want to talk to you about what you got in your kit today. So you got these watercolors, right? Oh, the paintbrush dropped. The only thing I don't love about this kit is that it comes with this very mediocre paintbrush. So I feel awful, but we weren't able to get everyone an extra paintbrush because we already got the paints. So I'm going to show you what a good paintbrush looks like. So this is a good watercolor paintbrush because it has where's the camera here? Oops. So it's rounded. It is rounded and pointed. So see how it goes to a point? That way you can get into these like really fine detailed areas versus this one that just like has like a blunt. It's just like blunt. Where's your focus point here? Yeah. So the difference between these two, I almost want it to focus on my hand and then it can, okay, whatever. Anyway, so the rounded tip right there, or the pointed tip, I mean, is what we want to do. Also, this is a number 8. You know it's a number 8 because it says number 8. Jeez. Okay, you can kind of see that number 8 right there. Sorry about my fingernails. And then let me show you. So then this one is a bigger one. So this is still a pointed paintbrush, but it's number 10, so it's bigger. You can see number 10 on it. Okay, so there's that's now these paintbrushes can range anywhere between like $7, $6, $7, all the way up to $20. But I found, I mean, the funny thing is like they last forever. Like here's another big one. This is a 16. So see how it's still that rounded, yummy but it's 16, so it says round. And Master's Touch is the brand. You can find them at Hobby Lobby. Honestly, like $6, and then you can use that coupon and you can get a cheaper one. So for this project, I feel like a number 8 paintbrush, number 8 or 4 are my go-to paintbrushes. These are both number 8s when it comes to doing like kind of smaller paintings like this. See, so then you can go like this and get like really all the way up into this little spot up here and be able to blend that way. These paintbrushes last forever. In fact, I've had one that I've had since I was in high school, and I still like grab it every time I start painting. It's so gross looking too. I've used it, like look at this. I've used it forever. It's a 4, so it's a smaller one, but you can see there's paint all over it. Oh, sorry. So I've used it for like acrylic. Acrylic dries like that. So anyway, but you need a good paintbrush. And so I almost am hoping that you guys will be so excited about painting that you'll go out and buy yourself some professional paintbrushes. Even if you get like a round set, you can get them for like maybe $15 for the whole set, and then use a 40% off coupon at Hobby Lobby. So that's what I'm hoping you'll do. Before you start, you want to get so we'll just pretend that we have what we've been given, okay? So you've got a pencil. You've received a pencil. Where is it? Okay, we've got a pencil and this paintbrush. I want you to go get a paper towel. Okay, you need a paper towel, and you need to get a cup with water. Preferably one that's like this, like a disposable one. If not, maybe use a glass one because that'll clean a little bit better. But yeah, so let's get to that point, and so get all of that together and then come back. Okay, step 1 is to create a transfer. And so you were given these things. So yours looks like, this is what we want to end up with. Actually, this isn't what we're going to, sorry, what I'm explaining. Pause. Okay, so you were given these items. Watercolor paper, love it. This is where we're going to do our art. There's a smooth side and there's a rough side. I want to say it's up to you in regards to like what you want, like what type of look. I usually use the watercolor side, so it looks like I'm doing the rough side, so it looks like I'm watercoloring, right? And then you also got this piece of paper that shows you the actual design. And then this is graphite, this is transfer paper, okay, transfer paper, and then this is tracing paper. I know it seems like it's kind of like a cheater's way out, but it really isn't. This is how I was taught in art school. It's just almost easier to be able to, even if you like find pieces that inspire you, or you took a photograph that inspires you, you can put tracing paper over on top of it and trace the design, and then transfer it onto the medium or the paper or the canvas or whatever you'd like to paint. Or draw or whatever. I know we have a lot of artists out there, so if you want to do it freehand, that's totally fine. But I guess what I love about this is that I like doing like composite stuff. So putting like this with this with this with this, and just like getting it on it, and then I can actually have fun painting it. That's where like the actual fun starts, right? Okay, so what you want to do first is take your piece of paper. Actually, now that I'm seeing this, we can probably just transfer it on here and not use tracing. Okay, so I had an epiphany, and I'm sure it sounds very stupid right now, but I just realized, like, why would I have you trace it? Okay, because I already traced it. I traced it when I was doing it the first time. But if I give you this, all you have to do is use the outlines and do it. Okay, we're gonna try it that way. Let's do it that way, so we don't have to do like an extra step. Okay, so this video is gonna be very long because we're doing this all in real time. So take your graphite. So this graphite has to transfer the dark the dark part down onto the watercolor paper. So you have your rough side up here, then you put the dark side down here on that. You want it to be perfectly lined up, because if you don't, then, and this is an important part, because you want to make sure that this is centered on the actual, yeah, you want to make sure that this is centered right here. Okay, so we've got it centered on our paper, and then we're going to take some tape. I have some packaging tape because that's all I could find, and I'm going to tape it together. I actually like to tape it to the table that I'm at, just so that all three pieces don't move. You do not want the three pieces moving. Okay. So if I take my pencil now, and if I write anywhere else, like press down onto it, it will transfer that onto my watercolor paper. So it's really important. It's really important to keep, to not put any like pressure points on anywhere else except for where the lines are. So you're going to start, because you can't really see where you're going, you're just gonna have to remember, oh my gosh, are you for real? Rachel Zinn. She provided the pencils. Anyway, okay, so just like this, go along here. I'm not pressing too hard because I don't want these lines to be incredibly dark. And this is a very easy tracing. It's like a contour line drawing almost, right? If you're an artist, you know what that means. But you want to go ahead and just trace. So I'm going to speed this up. Okay, then you can kind of take a sneak peek and see if you missed anything, and it looks like I didn't. So I'm going to carefully just take the tape off, and oh, that's fun. It just took some paint off of my table. That's exciting. Okay, so you can see I missed a little spot here. No big deal. But now we have our easy design there. So lucky for you guys, I cut out a step. Ah! Okay. Okay, before we start painting our actual project, okay, first of all, I want to show you the difference between these. This is the brand new one you just got, and then this is what mine looks like. So just so you know, it is the exact same one. I just have made a huge mess of it, which, oh gosh, that's my dog, which is totally fine. So make a mess. This is actually your palette where you're going to do a lot of mixing and like diluting and stuff over here, okay? I've got to go yell at my kids. Okay, so I want you to get out a blank piece of paper. We're going to just go over some simple watercolor techniques. And the reason is because I want to show you how you can create dimension using light and dark, and for you just to kind of get used to using watercolor. So usually you can use, to make something light, you add more water or show like the paper through the, like the shape. So let's just start by taking our paintbrush and putting it in any color. I'm gonna do like this red color, even though red is not my favorite, but I will just do it anyway. So getting some water in there helps activate it. And then, okay, you can't quite see my palette, so I will scooch everything down. Okay, can you see it now? Can you see me now? Okay, yes, perfect. Okay, so, and then I come over here and put it like in this, you gotta get your water close to your palette. I put it over here, get it nice and wet. I want lots of pigment right here because I'm going to create, and this might even be too dark, but, so I'm gonna put my paintbrush in a little bit lighter. So oh, that's really light. So I'm gonna dab it off a little bit, dab it off, get some more of that color. I'm just gonna do a circle. So here's a circle, friendly circle, right? All the same color. And the key to working with watercolor is to pull out, is to just kind of manipulate the water there. So now it's all one tone, but before it dries, you want to hurry and wad up your paper right here and blot out a highlight. So you can do that way. So that's how I blot out a highlight. So that's how you can create dimension. Then you take your watercolors and put it back into this dark, or your brush and put it back in this dark color. Then you can go down here and create more of a shadow. And see, if it starts to bleed like that, it's got lots of water in it. So then I dab it out and then just kind of blend it. So these are the techniques we're gonna be using today. Oh my gosh, these paintbrushes, it's like already shedding. Just kind of like blotting and blending and just really layering is very important. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this paintbrush is killing me. Yeah. So that is kind of like an easy technique on how to create, and see how it's kind of, oh my gosh. Usually if I do that, my paintbrush doesn't go crazy. So to blend it more, I just put a little bit more water on that and just let it blend. See how it kind of creates a hard line if you don't blend it? Yeah. So that's that. That's how you can kind of create some shape there. So I want you to create that sphere, and then I want to show you how you can blend colors. So let's pretend like we're doing one of those like kind of those like fire things. So what we'll start by doing is getting like a medium color, so not a dark or a light, but like a medium color. And then we're going to like, and lots of water, so you can see how it kind of, yeah, we've got lots of water here. So we're gonna just get water. We want to hurry and color it all in while everything is still wet, or else it'll dry. And so then at the top of it, I'm going to take my paintbrush, or my paper towel, and just kind of blot it out a little bit. And then I always keep my paintbrush, or my, okay, see, this paintbrush is shedding. It's got, okay, whatever. Anyway, so now you blend that a little bit, and then I kind of want to drop in a darker purple, like down here at the edge before it really dries, and that's like a lot, so I'm going to dab it off again, and just dab it off again, and then just blend it. I like kind of how the colors are kind of pulling in there. It's just kind of fun to like maneuver it, very relaxing. I want to add some pinks, so like some magentas in here, kind of in this midsection, so it can kind of just have that in there. So that's kind of fun. And you can even go like orangey put in there, and then just if you want to, see this is dried up here already, so you just kind of reactivate it by putting a little bit of water back into it. See, and then it creates just this kind of mood here. I mean, you can even go and put like a little blue, that would be fun, kind of down here, this very tip here. So dabbing it off and then kind of blending it. So this is called a wet on wet technique. So we're putting wet paint in on wet paint, and so it kind of blends in together. There are lots, oh my gosh, my paintbrush, this paintbrush just like fell out of here. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh man. Okay, so I want to kind of show you some fun techniques to do instead of doing something like that. When you create flowers, I'll just show you my favorite. I'll do a rose. So taking some maybe of this pink and mixing it. So, oh, that is something that I want to make sure you go over. So the reason I wanted to show you or pick out this palette instead of one that's just smaller is because I wanted you to have obviously a lot of colors and make it look cool. But sometimes as beginning watercolorists and even artists, we forget that we need to mix our colors with either a gray, a black, or brown, like a neutral to tone it down, or its complement. So, I mean, I'm not gonna go over the color wheel right now, but like purple and yellow are complements. So if you mix those, it'll tone the other one down. But for me, like with this palette, it's so easy. I just take some of the gray and add it to any color and like a purple or something, and then it tones it down and it makes it more natural. Flowers and stuff, they're not gonna be like this crazy bright purple. It looks like that to our eyes, but it's going to be more of like this type of purple. So this is just an easy way to make either petals or leaves. The way you do it is you just, if you had a pointed brush, it would be more dramatic. Like it would go point to, and then you press down and then you lift up. So you go like this and point, press down, and then lift up. And you kind of let that paint just do whatever. So that's really fun. You just press down and then pull up. And again, this brush isn't the best. Sorry about that. And then what's fun is while you're there, you can maybe add a little bit of like bluey in it or something and just kind of like dab that in there and see like what it does. Usually you start by always making like a stem. So that's more of like a foliage technique, is doing that kind of a thing. And then there's like eucalyptus leaves, which is basically just like a kind of a blop. And then at one point you'll just like dab out like part of it, just kind of like that. And then once it dries, you can go in and like add a little leafy stem thing coming in here. There are fun ones like pine needles that are like just really small. So there's just like little. So you take like the top of your, like the very tip of your brush and just barely kind of like skim it along. And that's what I do when I'm making little flowers too. I'll just make like little stems. And then this is fun with like the, you know, the little yellow. So yellow, again, it needs to be kind of toned down a little bit, but not so much. Maybe adding like some of this kind of peachy color. And like doing like a little dot on top. So cute. Or I did a poppy for last year's. Remember we did the Wizard of Oz theme stuff last year. And this is a very bright red, but we'll just do that. So we did like, I think I just like even did like this, like just kind of like something like this.
And then I came in and just blotted a little bit of it out just to have a little bit of dimension there. And then after it dried fully, I went and took in the darkest black, so which means not very much water, and just a little bit of the black on like the tip of my brush. And I came in and just like little dots in it. Actually, I think, isn't it like this? Yeah, and then little dots. Okay, this one's obviously not dry, but it made it really cute. And then getting kind of like a bluey green stem. And then you can do like a so something like that is really fun. I honestly love doing roses. Roses are really fun too. Let's do like a pink one. Ooh, maybe like a, I don't know, there's so many colors I could do. We'll do like a mixture, a pinky purple one. Okay, obviously I like the color pink. Okay, so you start with like the darkest of your brush, like in the middle, and you do like a line, and then you just kind of start going around it. And if it falls into each other, and just kind of like little pick up and drop. I feel like I have a little bit too much in there. Just kind of like, okay, the paintbrush is not being my friend because it's not helping me create that. And so coming around and then like creating like a bigger, so that's kind of fun to just kind of play with that. And then I'll sometimes go back in and put like some little bits of yellow, because sometimes flowers have some kind of, you know, they mix in here. And see that I didn't mix, I should have mixed down that yellow so it looked more natural instead of such a vibrant. Yeah. Anyway, so that's really fun. What I love about it is that you could just sit here and just like, it's almost like doodling to me, and I feel like it's easier than drawing. I feel like I can just express myself a little bit more with watercolor. And the cool thing about watercolor is it travels so well. You can get smaller pads that are that just have a bunch of I want to make sure it's still recording. Oh, that looks so pretty. Oh, how fun. Anyway, so you can get a bunch of different pads that are small, and watercolor paper is not very expensive, and then all you have to do is take this and like a couple paintbrushes, and you can, and all you need is like a plastic cup or container or something, and then paper towel, and you can watercolor anywhere. That's what I love about watercolors, is they're very portable and they're safe. Like, I am so messy, I would get all the paint all over myself all the time, so I love that. I don't have to worry about getting it on myself. So camping, you can take this, go out in the wilderness, and have so much fun with it. Okay, now we've kind of played around with this. You have some extra paper. I want you to just maybe create some florals, have some fun with that. But yeah, so there's that. Let's go on to our project here. So this one, I left more space on the side so I could put the verb or the words right here. So born in it for a time such as this. First, I started with the face, and I wanted to keep the face very neutral. So like something like starting with like this brown or this gray, and coming over here and creating kind of a base, not too dark color. And then unfortunately you do need to you have to work fast, because you, like I said, you can't let any of this dry before you're able to create that dimension in it. So I know it's very difficult, but I know you can do it. Okay. Good, and then you take your and kind of like blot it out a little bit. And then I took more color, kind of like the gray a little bit, and then just kind of came in and like let it kind of blend in a little bit here. And then rinsed out my brush, dabbed it a little bit. So I'm coming in with a drier brush. So if you dab it off, and you can come in and kind of like manipulate that, have it sucks up the water a little bit more that way. See, it's already starting to dry there. So yeah, something that's just very neutral, because that's gonna be the, that's the neutral part, right? So what did I even do with this one? Okay. So I thought, some kind of like yummy rainbowy flame. So I wanted to start with cool colors down here that goes into the warmer colors. So this color behind, so this color right here, the way that we did this is I chose this color first, and then I painted it all in, and then I put this other turquoisey color in, kind of crawling up it, and then actually I used white. This is a kind of a fun palette because it has white. So I think I toned down one of these turquoises because they are, like I said, they're very vibrant and bright. So I used kind of like a bluey turquoise over here. I just got kind of enough of that color so that when I'm going, I'm not running out of it, okay? So then you take your paintbrush and you just go at it. Just go, go, go. Grab, 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 start painting. Good. A little bit out of the lines there. It's okay, because you can cut in with the darker color behind it. Good. Good. So then you take your paper towel and dab out that top part. Okay. And then this bottom part is still pretty wet, but all I did was just, again, take my paintbrush and dab it off into the paper towel. Okay, so now I want to get some darker color here. So I'm going to go straight into this really pretty emerald green looking color, and I'm going to go to a dry paintbrush and put more green in it, just make it really like greeny. Good, like right in there. And then I'm going to put this just right here in this bottom part, so it kind of like ekes up towards it. And that's a lot of paint right there, so I'm going to dab off my brush and blend it. I promise you, this is so much easier with a better paintbrush. Good. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so see how that is. And then I went into this white and just painted the white in. Honestly, like, the white doesn't really do much, except for if you don't have it, if I had messed up and done it too dark, then you could bring it in and make it a little bit lighter, because right now it looks like it's bringing in the dark. But I don't know, I kind of like it. Or what do we think? That's what's fun, is it doesn't even matter. And here's the thing, is you could literally choose whatever color you want for this. I just chose this turquoisey color right here. Oh, and I did like this sky bluey color. I think I added that in there too, just to kind of give it some interesting dimension there. Sky bluey color. Yeah, I liked that. I thought that looked cool. And then what I did up here is I grabbed this just straight emerald green, maybe add a little bit of darkness to it, make it a little dramatic, and just went in on this one right here. I painted the whole thing green. And I just dabbed out that top part and just kept in. That color. Okay, next color. I wanted to do a darker color right here so that that blue kind of popped off and there was some contrast. So I chose more of a royal blue with, honestly, I put some black in it, a little bit of black, just kind of made it a little darker there. You can put some purple. I really wanted that deep, kind of a navy, like a navy blue. Oh, and I really like started right here because I knew I wanted it very bold. Here's the thing, I don't normally make video tutorials about watercolor. I am a photographer and I feel more comfortable about that, so I've been dreading doing this because I'm like, what if I mess up and I have to start all over? But then I was like, those girls are not gonna hate on me. Because yeah, I am definitely not. I majored in art, but I changed my degree to photography. So I have a degree in photography, and I've been shooting weddings for like 14, I have no idea, a long time, years. And anyway, I've always loved watercolor. Okay, so that I actually like a lot better than the other one I did. Oh, dang it, I need to go get some more paper towels. So then you just try to wipe up this top part. This undercolor, I don't mind if it's like not that light right here because this is kind of like the bottom. So I'm okay if it doesn't have that dark. Yeah. Anyway, I've totally procrastinated this. I was supposed to do this like months ago, like weeks ago, and it's the night before, so whatever. I work really well under pressure though. So again, like you can add some colors in here. If you want to add like a little bit of purple, this medium purple in here. Gosh, it kind of doesn't show up, does it? Oops, messed up, but it's okay. Just kind of play around with it. You don't want it to get too soupy because it can get really messy really quick. So that's why I love having my my paper towels right here. Yeah, see, that's kind of fun to have a little bit of that purple coming in, and then maybe another bit, a little bit of sky blue. I don't know what it is about that blue, but I love it. I love it. I want to marry it. No, I don't want to marry it. It's okay. I'm gonna add some white up here just to give it a little bit more of that. Yeah, see, this white, it really, white with watercolor is kind of like faux pas. It's not like a real, white should just be the paint or the paper underneath, but I think it's fun that this kind of has a little bit of this white in it. Yeah, you can add more colors in here, honestly, just whatever. I just wanted it to be kind of like a really fun, cool, like cool colors. So like those, yeah, those cool colors. And then this, I think I put this color right here, yeah. I really liked this color because it kind of is a mix between purplies and blues. It's like that periwinkle color, kind of like a color that doesn't belong anywhere. No one gets or understands. But I get it. I understand you. I understand you, periwinkle. Love it. I need to go get another paper towel. My paintbrush is like spilling everywhere. Okay, and now on to the next one. I think I did, so you can see like how they're not exactly the same. I actually like this one better because I like what the kind of the different colors I put in here. I actually want to do the same thing here. I want to put some colors in this one too. So I'm going to start with this medium purple. So medium meaning like not light or dark. It's kind of like a medium purple. I'm going to add just some dimension to it, maybe add some red, kind of make it more of a red violet. And lots of water, and then come in and just really paint. Because remember, we're going to paint that mid-tone. And oopsies, see, painting outside the lines. I showed this to Ellie, and I was like, what does it, like, how does it make you feel? Do you like it? And she said, yes, I like it. She's like, but what does it mean? And I was like, well, honestly, like, it could mean anything. And like, when I see it, I think of like lighting the fire within us. So like, we all have this potential, right? But sometimes we just want to stay stagnant and like stay in our beds and watch Netflix, because basically like I love that life. But if we just like push ourselves beyond where it's comfortable, we can start doing things that are pretty incredible, especially in this crazy time we have, where it is a little bit scary, but I like the fact that we have the comfort of the gospel in this uncomfortable time. It makes me feel safe, makes me feel like I have purpose. I really do love it. So I'm going to add some more, look at this pink in here. This kind of like raspberry color. Put that in there. Again, you don't want it to get too soupy or else your paint will start bubbling up. Yeah, I really do. When I saw this, I was like, wait, that's the Young Women torch, and it was on some like stock design website, clip art. It's like, what the heck? They stole the design. And I really do think they stole. I really do think they stole some of the design of it. It's like, what? You can't be doing that, you. Anyway, I thought that was pretty wild. But I actually liked it better than the Young Women's one, because it does feel more simplistic, and it just feels like, I don't know. I mean, I hope it's like inspirational to you, because when I see it, I just feel power. I feel like strength. Because we really are incredible as women. I've recently learned that our nurturing, our motherly instincts is actually an incredible superpower, whereas the world has made it seem like it is a weakness. But our power to comfort and to be empathetic, which means to kind of understand someone's emotions and to help them with it, or understand them even in regards to like business, like understanding feelings and where they're coming from before getting like angry or rash, is definitely a superpower. And I feel like the world sees it not as something that's a strength, but I've just recently just fallen in love with the fact that I like love taking care of my kids or of neighbors or friends, and when I can tell that there's a need, I love to be the one that can fill it. So I feel like that's definitely a superpower. So I just went in with my red. I'm gonna make this one look more flamey because it's kind of like the main one. So I want lots of orange in here. Up in here. Up in here. Lots of flames. See how it just kind of blends into yumminess. Just kind of having like a balancing technique between you and the wet paint. Layering and watching it just layer. Love it. Put a little bit of that yellow in there. It's so fun to see how it's, I mean, I even want it darker right there. I want it just like yummy, like bold. Ooh, I just got a lot of paint. Yeah, I hope this isn't annoying you guys. I hope you're able to kind of go along and follow along with this here. Okay, let me see what I did here. Okay, I kind of went all the way to the edge with that orange. Kind of put some orange all the way up to the top. And I think I did that because I knew I was going to do this one as a yellow and I needed to have that contrast there. Yeah. I love it. I know it's been so hard, you guys, with all this coronavirus stuff and being away from your friends and not being able to connect with people. You guys, as teenagers, that's the best part of life, is to have fun and be silly. And sometimes, and with this coronavirus situation, we really just don't have the opportunity to be with our friends as often. And school's out, and it was out too soon. You know, it's almost like you didn't get to even say goodbye to your teachers or your friends, and it is hard. I want you to know that we know it is hard. It's not fair. It's not fair, and it's hard. And so these emotions that you have, the boredom or the anxieties that you feel for being alone and thinking that no one else cares or no one else knows, I'll tell you right now, there is definitely someone who knows, and his name is God and Jesus Christ. They know what it's like to feel alone, what it's like to feel sadness, anxiety, depression. And no matter what you're going through, there's going to always be Heavenly Father and Jesus to look after you. Even if you don't recognize it, even if you're like, no, they don't know what I'm going through, or they're not helping me, they're helping you through angels that are there. Angels in the form of parents or friends or teachers or young women's leaders that can feel your pain and want to help you through it. So the next time you're feeling low, I want you to have a prayer and ask Heavenly Father to send someone to help you. Because that is how it works. It's really such a beautiful miracle that it's that simple. You just ask for help and He will help you. Like I said, whether it's through like a friend or family member or whatever. I just love this gospel. Dang it. Getting all sorts of sentimental. Okay, what are we thinking, ladies? we like it? I think I even added some orange in here, like up in the top. I like the idea of like the different colors coming in here. Like the oranges to the pinks to the kind of corally reds. That's so beautiful. And it's so subtle, but it makes so much of a difference when you look at it. It just looks more rich in depth. Put some yellow in there. Okay. Gosh, I guess I could just keep messing with this forever, right? Okay, what do we think? I don't know. I feel like I got pretty close. This one I like the orange in better. It seems more vibrant, doesn't it? Maybe I'll put more orange in it. I don't know what it is about that dang orange. I just love it. I just love me some orange. Yeah, see, look at that bright orange. Just looks so yummy. It's like it's fiery. Rawr, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Yeah. Ooh, I love it. Add a little bit of that deeper red in here. Come on, baby, I'm on fire. Just kidding. It's a stupid song. I shouldn't be singing that right now. But so pretty. Pretty, pretty. Okay, do we like that better? I feel like that's more contrasty. Yes, I think that looks good. Okay, now on to the quote. Okay, this part is the tricky part. I've been going back and forth. I would suggest you write it with a pencil first. You can do calligraphy here. You could do like something pretty, born for a time such as this. This isn't a calligraphy class because I'm super not awesome at calligraphy, but I just like wrote it in kind of all caps. So if you do calligraphy or do some kind of fun script, definitely do it in pencil first and then go over it and work it. I mean, I guess what I loved is born for this. If those ones were like the big words and then the other ones were small, I think that would be fun. So, should we try? Oh man, what if this is an epic fail? Okay, I'll just have to do it again. So we'll do like a big B, and then we'll do born. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so scared. Born. For, maybe I'll do like for a time. Oh my gosh, I should have like really. And this will be like in caps. I don't know. Okay, this was tricky. I totally changed it. I ended up doing part calligraphy, part script, and I'm hoping it turns out I'm doing like born for a time such as this. So the tricky part with this is you can either do it that way or the other way I showed you, like with this, just putting like born for a time such as this down here. I'm gonna see how this turns out. I'm literally so scared right now. So I'm probably just gonna like make this go fast so that you guys think that I work really fast with calligraphy, but I'm not. Oh, ugh, my computer. Okay, so these are some pens. I'll put the link below to these pens. They're Pigma. They come in a pack of 3. This one's fine, this one's medium, this one's bold. I usually start with like a fine one and then kind of like color it in. Anyway, I'm just gonna speed this up. Just see how we do here, because I wrote it all in pencil first. Okay, I cannot, okay, oops, forgot to go over this again. Okay, ladies, I hope this wasn't too intense. I will, like, again, I will put the link below for some of my favorite paintbrushes, as well as these calligraphy pens. Let me know if you have any questions or anything, but honestly, like, whatever it ends up looking like mine yesterday looked totally different than this one. So whatever you want to do, it's not even, you don't even have to do the same colors. Like, look at these different ones. This one's like softer. This one's more like illustrative. So whatever you end up doing, it's going to look amazing. And I cannot wait to see what you guys do tomorrow. So go have fun. Don't stress about it. And I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a lesson.